Okay guys, so today I have a review, a little bit different. This is the SH Monsterarts Godzilla figure that came out late in 2011, and I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I was when I was growing up, and I was on the border on picking this guy up, but being a huge Godzilla fan, I keep hearing that this is a must-have Godzilla. This is the definitive Godzilla. The detail, the articulation, everything about this Godzilla is just really awesome. So I figured I'd pick them up. And so here's the box. Really nice picture of Godzilla's head here. And then you can see here Godzilla in the clear display. Big Godzilla name on the side. And then here you have him on the back. You have really nice pictures of Godzilla here on the back. And so this is a very nice box. And I can't wait to get him open. So let me open him up and then we'll take a closer look at him. So here we have Godzilla out of his box and looking as menacing as he can. And I must say, I'm highly impressed by this figure. It's just such a definitive Godzilla. It looks so nice, and just the detail and the amount of texturing and all that figure or Monsterarts put into this figure is amazing. I can't get enough of looking at this guy. I mean, just look at this. I think the one thing I wasn't crazy about initially when I saw pictures of it was his eyes, but it's not that bad in person, and so I do like that. It's really not that bad. But just look at all the texture that they put into this guy. I mean, that's just incredible. Like, I mean, it's not doing it justice on the camera. I mean, you can kind of see it, but really, it's just insane how much detail they put. You can see here in his face that his mouth does open, and he even has detail on his tongue, and everything about his head sculpt is so accurate. He looks really good in person, especially. So if that's not coming across on the camera, trust me, he looks really nice. And I think for me, I thought it would be a little bit bigger, but this is actually not too bad. I'd say he's about in scale with, like, 6-inch figures or so. He's about 6 inches tall, but definitely a very nice figure. And then probably one of the most articulated Godzillas that we've ever had. We're so used to getting the very, the plastic is just very light. This guy is solid, and you usually just have shoulders and hip movement, and maybe the tail can spin, but that's about it. This guy has his mouth articulation, obviously, and he does have some turning ability at the head, and it can also go up a little bit at the neck. And then right here as well, this joint there. And then his shoulders, they do move. I mean, not a ton. Godzilla himself didn't really move that much in terms of his articulation in the movies itself, so I wouldn't say that it's off or anything. And then he does have a little bit of a bicep swivel, and then a hinge on his arm, his elbow, and then it's ball jointed hands. So that's really nice. And then he does have some waist. His abdomen can move a little bit there. And then on his hips do move. Just, all the joints are pretty tight on this figure, so it is a little bit difficult to move it. But then he does have swivel knees on 2 areas here. And then he has movement here on his shin. And then his feet can also spin. And so you can, like I said, Godzilla himself in the movies, he doesn't move all that much, and so the articulation wise, it's not that bad. And as you can see, he's a pretty long figure, especially with his tail. His tail is probably one of the best pieces about him in terms of the articulation, because, I mean, you just look at it. Let me look at the spikes on his back first. I mean, you can see the detail on these spikes. It's very nice. And then just his tail, the amount of movement on this thing is incredible. You can flatten it out straight like this. You can raise it up. It can go up to about that high. You can twist it this way. twist it this way. There's a ball joint here as well as here, and there's ball joints all across here that do spin here, and it's just so nice. I love it. I love this Godzilla. Being a huge fan of Godzilla, this is definitely a great piece to have in my collection. And so and he does come with an accessory, which is very nice. He does come with his fire blast, which is cool, and you can see here it comes with a little base. Not really sure what this is supposed to be, but it comes with a little clear piece to make it give that illusion that he's firing it. And this is really cool. This is very nice because it's basically it can move right here, it can move here in the middle, and it can move here at top. And so you can really get some good looking poses here. And so what you're going to want to do is just stick this piece in his mouth, and it fits in there very nicely. You can see here it's molded very nicely to fit in there, and so it looks like it does look like Godzilla is blowing his shooting his I guess his you know, mouth beam, or whatever you want to call it, his radioactive beam out of his mouth, which is really cool, very iconic of Godzilla himself. And then it splits here at the end of it, and so if you set it up right, you can get it so it looks like he's shooting something, and then put some figure here at the end that will take on Godzilla and probably get destroyed pretty easily. But very nice overall, and I love this. I like this little feature here that they give you, and really nice. You can also get Godzilla in his, as you saw in the box, you can get him in his swimming mode, I guess you would call it that, because he doesn't fly, but on the box he has this thing of where he looks like he's just flat out. Because his tail is so articulated, it's really cool. You can really get him into some really nice poses with this, like this, and so it does look like he's swimming almost. I mean, Godzilla does swim pretty well in the water, so it is pretty cool. And but yeah, so this is a very nice. That just goes to show how much articulation he does have, which is really cool. So that he can be able to do that. Just for a quick size comparison, I'm going to bring in here. This is Mechagodzilla, and I don't have the Monsterarts Mechagodzilla. I don't know if I'm going to get that, because for me, I like the classic look of Mechagodzilla from the original, I guess, 1960s movie. And this is it. I mean, I bought this guy a little while ago, and he's super nice. And so definitely, obviously they're not really in scale. Godzilla's not really in scale with this Mechagodzilla, but on a shelf it looks very nice. And so like I said, I don't know if I'm going to pick up the Monsterarts figure of Mechagodzilla, because I do like this guy and his classic look much better. And so if they made one like this guy, then I would be all over that, just so he's in scale with Godzilla. But that's just a quick size comparison for you guys to see Godzilla next to another one of his foes, his nemesis, Mechagodzilla. And so yeah, I would, like I said, I would highly recommend this guy, because he is awesome and looks very nice. And you know, some people were saying his tail, they wish that his tail could be a little bit more articulate, but I'm like, I don't know how much more articulate you can get, because it's kind of long, so it's hard to display him on a shelf. But you know, sacrifices for a minor sacrifice for just having a great figure and super well detailed. So, but that'll do it for just taking a look at Godzilla. Buy him before he gets too expensive. Very nice figure, and if you are a Godzilla fan, I highly recommend him. So that'll do it for this, and please feel free to ask questions, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.